Hello, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Bloodstained Wings, and today I thought we could do something a lot different from what I usually paint. You guys often see me paint landscapes as well as the occasional creature, but have you guys ever seen me paint a cityscape? This is a cityscape that I painted. It is inspired by a larger painting that I actually had as a commission, and I hope you guys enjoy painting along with me. This was a very fast painting considering it was an entire painting, so I hope you guys enjoy. So, as you guys saw in the intro, which I think that's just a catchphrase that I'm going to keep saying every single time in every single one of my videos, no matter how much I try not to. But, as you saw in my intro, I am doing something very much different than what I usually do in terms of landscape paintings. This is a cityscape. Now I did start with a lot of gesso going on here, so you can see that it's darker in the foreground and lighter as it gets to the background. There's like buildings and windows cut out and everything is all looking like it's ready to just be a painting already. That's going to be really important if you're doing this with oil painting, having a really good sketch done in gesso, so a pre-painting, an underpainting, is gonna like pay dividends, because we're gonna be painting this very much like as is. We're not gonna be doing like a whole heck of a lot to it at the top. The bottom is where we're gonna have a lot of fun. Now this whole thing is actually based off of a commission that I got a while ago. And I had so much fun painting it, and I just really liked how it turned out that I thought, you know what, I should show people how I did it. So, the first thing is to start with a very good gesso base. Take as much time as you need getting this to look right. It's gonna be like key to everything looking right. You can do a little bit like I am right now with the white. That's gonna really help to like give it a haze over top, but you want to still make sure you have that like the colors getting lighter as they get further away and that kind of stuff. It's really going to help to make your painting feel more alive and like it really exists. I'm going to paint some like really faint clouds, really faintly, just like as if there's like some, I don't know, you know, like smog. I'm going for like a smog kind of gloomy day, a smoggy day, a rainy day, kind of something like that. That's along the lines I'm going for. So I'm just gonna kind of add like tiny little circles. When doing clouds, do tiny little circles. So you can see there's just tiny little circles and then more tiny little circles. Now I am blending these out crazily because I'm just looking for like some nondescript kind of like dark shapes. I may go over it with some light shapes to like more highlight the fact that there are clouds, but the idea here is to just like add some like vague darkness that's just kind of like looming over the city. The idea behind this whole painting actually is kind of like, I don't know, like, you know when you reminisce and you always think about things like in a better way than they actually are? So the idea here is that like the reality is this like dark, basically black and white world with a little bit of light here and there, but basically black and white world that then is highlighted by the memories that are down here that are like the when you're reflecting upon it, that's why they're the reflections, that like everything looks so pretty and you're like, oh my god, remember when this? And people are like, yeah, and like that's how they think of it. They don't think about it in terms of like what it actually was like. You know what I'm talking about? It's like when you think about Ocarina of Time and you're like, oh my god, that game looked so good when it came out, and then you look at it now and you're like, oh, when it came out, it looked really good, but, you know, now it looks very much like polygons, and you're like, I didn't realize that this didn't age so well. it's definitely a thing that you have to really catch yourself on sometimes. Because another one of the things is like childhood shows that like when you were a kid you were like, yes, I love this show, and then like you go back and you watch it as an adult and sometimes they're just not as good, and sometimes you find out that like Inspector Gadget, the only real good thing about it was actually the intro. Amazing intro, legit love that intro still, but the fact that Penny does all of the work and gets 0 credit is just like extremely frustrating for young women around the world, I'm sure, where they're like, yeah, yes, look at that. So, you know, retrospect, not the best when you actually look at it, but in your head, you're like, it was like a great, I'm sorry, I swore, but like, you know, there was a great, like, awesome person who was female, who was like leading the way and being all smart and sassy, and like a dog that was awesome, and you're like, yeah, they can absolutely do anything. And as a kid, you're like, yes, that's inspirational. And then as an adult, you're like, oh, and then someone else takes all the credit. This kind of sucks. That part really like drives home. The point that I'm making is that when you look in the past in your memory without looking at it like in real life, it can have a lot of like joy and color, and there's a lot of like personality that like you apply to it that doesn't necessarily equate in real life all the time. Put in a window. Just gonna put in a little window. There we go. See? Adding a little bit of lights here and there, make everything look super funky and cool. Now I do have like a really, really big reference picture that I painted myself for this painting in particular, that this is going to be exceedingly close to. Not perfect, but exceedingly close to. If you follow my Instagram, you'll know what I'm talking about. If you're not following my Instagram, go check out the links below. It's in all of my videos, so you can just go ahead and check that out whenever you have time. I always post all of my art there, and I'll post about my YouTube videos whenever they come out. I'll also give you a heads up there about it. So, in case you wanted more information into what I do, because not everything I do is for YouTube. I do a lot of things actually that are not for YouTube, including commissions and sewing. I actually have plans for a sewing video to come out. I don't know if it came out before this video or after this video, but there are plans for a sewing video, because I'm actually a fabric mage as well as an oil painter, so if you guys want to check that out, please feel free to. I'm having a lot of fun just painting yellow. Sometimes it's really nice to just paint one solid color somewhere, like to not have to be bothered about like multiple different colors and multiple different shadings, and you're like, no, one layer, just one color, boom, done. And like I don't even have to worry about staying in the lines because yellow is not nearly as like strong as any of the other things. Like I went outside the lines here. Hey, guess what? It's gone. So yeah, this is a really nice and easy painting. Once you have the sketch down, the sketch does take a while. So if you're going to be trying this, if you're like, yes, I love this idea, I want to paint other cities, I want to paint every city. That sounds great. If you want to get particular about a city that you want to paint, just make sure you have like a really good reference picture for it, and then be sure to like really focus down and use rulers. I used a ruler for this whole thing, even though none of these lines are straight. I did use a ruler. I tried to keep them straight. Listen, as a non-straight person, it's hard to do straight things. But yes, paintings. So yeah, using a ruler is gonna help a lot for making sure that things are straight and things all line up and everything makes sense. While I was sketching this, I like somewhere in here I missed a building edge and was like no, and I had to like redraw it because it made sense up here, and then when I got here it didn't make any sense anymore. So, you know, feel free to do it in pencil first, like I did, so that you can erase and try again. Very important to be able to do that sometimes because, like, whew, things happen. And it's okay that things happen. There we go. Nice little window going on right there. I'm just going to get a bit more of these yellows. I'm using, by the way, a mixture of lemon yellow and cadmium yellow. In my other painting, I used a mixture of yellow ochre, but when I was pulling paints out, I grabbed the wrong yellow. So we're using lemon yellow instead of yellow ochre, and that's okay. It'll give this more of a brighter kind of look as opposed to the like muted look, but I think it still works. Still looks like city lights. The whole idea behind this painting is very much based off the one I already did, but I really like those like new wave retro videos and stuff like that. I find that they have this like real feel about them that's like nostalgic, even though like I never really lived in a city. So like how is it nostalgic? I don't know. I think it's just like TV nostalgic, I guess. Like, so I used to watch like Saved by the Bell and things like that. And I guess it's nostalgic in that kind of a way that like makes me think about those TV shows that were like really popular, I guess, in the 90s. I think that new wave retro is supposed to be more 80s, but I don't know, I guess I think it's more 90s. Maybe because that's what's retro to me, is like that's what's nostalgic to me, I guess. There should be a door over here so that you can get into this building. There. Now there is. Just like that. Which is one of the great things. So yeah, this is the basics, right? Looks great, right? Well, now it's time to have fun. I hope you guys are ready to have fun because we're breaking up the palette knife. You know it's happening. You know that I can only go so long without painting with a palette knife. So here we go. I'm going to start with the yellow, and I'm going to just mix the yellows onto my palette here. And I'm going to start, here. And I'm just going to pull straight. I'm going to touch it in the angle that it is following the building line and then pull straight down. Being fairly gentle so we get those nice breaks. Yes. Looking for a lot of color going on there. I'm sorry, I hit the camera. Have to come in this way. Add a little more. Yes, okay. There is a lot of yellow in that little section there, which is wonderful. I'm going to go into some of the, what is this? Cadmium red? Cadmium red. And I'm going to put that over here. If you guys want a soundtrack for this painting, feel free to look up The Midnight. They have a whole bunch of songs that are absolutely fantastic and will probably look really good with my art. I'm just saying, because they're fantastic and I love them. But, you know. Okay, I'm going to mix a little bit of white in with my Viridian Hue. And I'm going to come in with the green right here. Going for a real rainbow vibe. Because I like rainbows. There we go. Fill this part in a little bit more. There we go. Sometimes you do things and you're like, yes, yes. Okay, we're just gonna come in here. There we go. Just wanted a little bit more on this side. I'm going for a straight rainbow. The other one was big enough that I could have 2 rainbows. This one's not that big. So size matters. In paintings, size matters. Just to specify that I meant in paintings. Again, this phthalo blue has a little bit of white in it, and it is phthalo blue. Oh, look at that white. Oh, that looks really good. Come in a little bit more. There we go. Oh, that looks really good. I like it. We're going to get a little bit of white again, but this time with Quinacridone Violet, which is just a lovely, lovely reddish purple. It's beautiful. I love it. I'm going to come in and do this way first. I'm going to come in a little bit, real close. And I'm going to go back over with some blue. Oops. There we go. So now I can mix these two together with my palette knife. Yes. You want to try to keep these as straight as possible. I am painting at an angle, so it's very hard for me to try to think my way around what is straight and what's not. But you want to try to keep it as straight as possible. I have now mixed the red with the Quinacridone Violet to get a beautiful color right here. And I'm just going to really fill that part in because it didn't have a lot there. There we go. Back into the Quinacridone Violet. Just kind of play these back and forth. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Yes. Okay, I'm going to grab some white now. And we're going to have fun with white. Because that's always fun to like highlight it a little bit. So I'm going to just like, well, I'm trying to think of like where sidewalks should go and I should not. There's no sidewalks. I have no sidewalks in my city. Just so we're clear. No sidewalks in my city. Why are there no sidewalks in my city? I don't know. I don't know. Like, I give this city a walking score of 0. Alright. Have you guys seen those walking scores? Do you know what I'm talking about when I said that? That's a thing. Okay, just grabbing some more. This is just to make it look more like, I don't know, alive and wet. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's looking good. Sometimes you have to like take a step away from your painting in order to be able to like see it. But yes, that's what we're looking for. Is just a whole lot of this. I'm going to blend slightly, starting with the yellow. I'm just going to pull down a little bit. Just really, really gently. Just to like really give it that like, it's wet look. We're back into the red here. And then into the purple. I'm just going to lift this one upwards. That's better. Lifting upwards every once in a while just to really make sure that it's nice and blended, but not like too blended. I'm being very gentle. There. And now it's all misty. And that's what I'm looking for. That's it. I know, super fast painting, but once you do the sketch, the rest of this painting is super, super easy, which is why I thought it would be a really good one to just play around with you guys. Because I like playing around with you guys. I like having fun. I also thought this would be a really fun painting to just do. So if you guys wanted to paint this one, again, start with the gesso. Make sure that you really put a lot of time into your undersketch, because as you can see, you can really, really see that undersketch, and I'm not trying to hide it at all. But all of the color is in the bottom section. If you do happen to paint this, please let me know. please tell me, because I would love to know. And thank you so much for watching once again. I hope you guys really enjoyed this. I hope you guys are having a lovely day, a lovely time, whatever time it is where you are. And if you guys want to see more of my stuff, please feel free to check out the links below and the video cards that you see. I want to make sure you guys know that you are loved and you deserve to be loved. And I'll catch you guys next week. Mwah!